afternoon. Come on up. Come on up. Come on. We can be family here. Good afternoon. My name is Ed Yonka, and I am the Director of Communications and Public Policy at the ACLU of Illinois. And we are here today as a community to respond to the Supreme Court decision this morning in the Masterpiece Cake Shop case from Colorado. Let me just say, as we set this up, and I'm going to introduce, or let my colleagues introduce themselves and say a few words, but let me just say this. This case was always about more than the cake. It is about who we are as a people. It is about whether or not we are going to discriminate or whether or not we are going to be fair and equitable and open to all. And I think we should be open to all. Now here's the thing. The Supreme Court today, you'll read in headlines, you probably already read on Twitter, that the court ruled in favor of the baker in this case, who denied a couple their ability to get a cake for their wedding. And that is technically true. But the reality is that what the court has done is ruled that only in this set of facts are they not comfortable with the ruling of the Colorado Human Rights Commission. The truth is there is no license to discriminate across this country, and there is certainly no license to discriminate here in the state of Illinois. We have fought and we have won hard protections for people against discrimination. That took years of battle, and we are not going back on all of that. So at this point, I want to introduce Alyssa Jeffers from Lambda Legal, who's going to be the next speaker, and she can talk a little more about the legal framework of what we heard today. Alyssa.
Good evening. My name is Alyssa Jeffers, and I'm joining you this evening in response to the Masterpiece Cake Shop decision on behalf of Lambda Legal Defense and Education Fund, a national organization dedicated to advancing the civil rights of LGBT people and everyone living with HIV. As you know, the Supreme Court issued a disappointing but limited ruling today in the Masterpiece Cake Shop case. Let me underscore that today's ruling does not change the law. State non-discrimination laws that protect LGBT people, including Colorado's and Illinois', remain intact. Indeed, our non-discrimination law in Illinois is one of the strongest in the country, thanks to many of our partners here tonight. Today's ruling focused on the speech and conduct of the Colorado Civil Rights Commission and not of the baker in question. But there is danger here. We know that those who brought this case to the doorstep of the highest court in the land will seek to turn this ruling into a broad license to discriminate against LGBT people. And just as we saw backlash in our victory in Lawrence, Texas, the landmark Supreme Court ruling that struck down all sodomy laws nationwide as unconstitutional, we are seeing backlash to the freedom to marry. But we know how to fight, and we know how to win. In fact, Lambda Legal has already been hard at work in the courts to make sure that businesses and taxpayer-funded government programs do not use religion as a weapon to discriminate against LGBT people. For example, we are suing the federal government on behalf of a same-sex married couple in Texas that was discriminated against and denied even the opportunity to apply to serve as foster parents for refugee children because they were told, quote, they did not mirror the Holy Family. Just as we did in our friend of the court brief in Masterpiece Cake Shop in support of the ACLU, we will continue to show the courts that refusal of services to LGBT people or people living with HIV in public accommodations attributed to religious or moral beliefs violate the law. As we have for decades, we will lay the groundwork to advance and protect the civil rights of LGBT people. You are our community, and we are your voices. We will not stop fighting for you. Thank you.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Hayley Galloway, the Director of Civic Engagement for Equality Illinois, the state's LGBTQ civil rights organization. The Cake Shop case matters to Illinois because our Human Rights Act matters to LGBTQ people. Like Colorado's law, the Illinois Human Rights Act protects LGBTQ people from discrimination. And today, we are heartened that the court did not create a license to discriminate against LGBTQ people. The Illinois Human Rights Act is a solid law and is still in force. But make no mistake, the opponents of equality won't stop challenging our rights as LGBTQ people to be treated fairly and equally under the law. Before marriage equality, civil unions, the conversion therapy ban, and anti-bullying protections were fought for the right to live our lives with dignity in the workplace, in public accommodations, and in our homes. For the first 14 years of Equality Illinois' existence, we worked shoulder to shoulder with our partners to ensure that state law reflected the values of the people of Illinois. That's fairness, respect, inclusion, and the freedom to be who we are without the burden of discrimination. In 2005, LGBTQ people won the protections of the Illinois Human Rights Act. Protections that include the freedom to go to a restaurant, a hotel, or a baker, to not be denied a meal, denied a room, and yes, be denied the services of having a cake for your wedding. Since 2006, the Illinois Human Rights Act has been our promise to LGBTQ people of the state of Illinois that in Illinois, the law will treat you as a member of society. But we know that even today, discrimination against LGBTQ people still exists, but we're not going back. While today's decision was narrowly tailored to the particular situation in Colorado, we must be vigilant and we must not allow the misreadings of this decision to stall or halt our progress. We urge Governor Rauner and Attorney General Madigan to vigorously and publicly support and defend the Human Illinois Rights Act. Urge businesses of all sizes to fully comply with the Illinois Human Rights Act. We won't allow anti-equality forces to turn back the clock. And we won't allow businesses to hang up signs that read, "Your kind does not belong here." Open to all means open to all. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Anthony. I'm Jon Keller, President and CEO of the AIDS Foundation of Chicago, and I want to thank ACLU for all their tremendous, incredible work on this case. We are so grateful for their leadership. Thank you, Ed. Again, I'm Jon Keller, President and CEO of AIDS Foundation of Chicago. And while today's ruling was a very narrow one, which is somewhat heartening, we must remain vigilant. It won't take much for if a baker is allowed to say, I won't bake a cake for someone who's LGBT, for a doctor to say to someone living with HIV, I don't want to treat you because you're HIV positive, or I don't want to provide care to you because you're transgender. And And that's something that we cannot allow to happen in the United States of America or in Illinois or in any state across this nation. So we must stand united and remain vigilant against efforts of our opponents to allow discrimination on religious grounds. Thank you. I'm going to turn things over to Lorna Noriega with the Chicago Commission on Human Rights.
All right, good evening. Are you mad? Yeah. Are you really mad? Yeah. All right, there's no license to discriminate here, not only in the state of Illinois, but in the city of Chicago. Sexual orientation and gender identity are only 2 of the 16 protected classes here in the city of Chicago. We are committed to enforcing all civil rights, and if you are denied access or a service, I want you to come and talk to me, all right? Because the commission is open for business, and you should be mad as hell, and we will not take it. So you go home today, and when you are figuring what you're going to eat for dinner, figure out who you're voting for and who you're going to support, okay? Chicago is committed to enforcing the civil rights that we have all worked so hard to gain. Sexual orientation, gender identity, HIV status, those are all protected categories, and we are committed here in the city of Chicago to enforcing those. If you are turned away, you come see me. I want to talk to you.
So I want to close by thanking all of you for taking a little time at the end of your day to come out for this. I want to thank our partners here for standing up and for being part of this coalition in Illinois that has always stood to move this state forward. And I want to leave you with 2 takeaways just in case you missed them. The first one is this decision does not give anyone the license to discriminate. Share that as broad and as far and as wide as you possibly can. And the second message is to be on the lookout for anything that looks like discrimination in this area. And whether you talk to Mona or Lambda or the ACLU or whomever it is, we stand here ready to fight with you. We have moved forward, always, because we have worked together. And we're not going to stop now. Thank you all very much.